That question of, tell me about yourself is so open-ended it can be intimidating. And so really a student can handle this question by thinking chronologically. Think back to high school, where they're from, and then get into their decision about coming to Ohio State and why they chose Ohio State. I think it's also helpful to give some results. That's a big decision about choosing where you went to college. Give us some results. Are you happy at Ohio State and why you're happy at Ohio State?
I really want to get a big picture of who this person is. It's usually about the first question after we've had some small chit-chat, and I want to hear about their background. Usually if they put it in chronological order, it's great. So walk me through, where they're from, what they did in high school. That can be a building block to what they do here at Ohio State. I want to hear why they chose to go to Ohio State, why they chose their major, and really it helps give me a bigger picture of who they are. It also can bring up some examples of things where we might find connections.
I want something specific to what they've been doing in college, maybe something in high school that they had accomplished or a part of. Maybe they were on the golf team in high school and now they're doing that in college, and tell me what their interests are and where they're headed with their curriculum and what they want to do when they graduate, some of their career interests. So not a lot of personal information. I don't want to know if they're married, have kids, their living arrangements. I don't want to know any of that. I want it to stay very much focused on accomplishments and things that are going to relate to the job.
When I ask a student, tell me about your resume, tell me about yourself, that's really the opportunity for them, in my opinion, to frame the interview. So I want them to not just walk through the components of their resume. I can read that, I read that, I understand that. I want them to pick the things that really links them from their experiences to my company. So the things in their experiences they're particularly proud of, the things in their experiences that demonstrates the leadership, the innovative creativity, the technical skills that they know that I'm looking for a finance and accounting job within J&J.
Well, to start off, I grew up in Dresden, Ohio, which is a small town, and I went to Tri-Valley High School. And I've always really pushed myself to work hard and be, a good student and really get involved with the opportunities that were out there. So in high school, I was in National Honor Society. I was also elected for Student Council, which is where I kind of had some beginning leadership experience. Something also that I was really passionate about was learning about other cultures and languages, so I joined German Club, and actually my junior year I was able to travel abroad. I got to go to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Something else that I was really involved in was band in high school. I was in marching band, pep band, jazz band, and I started that from an early age. In 8th grade, I joined the marching band, and that was probably one of the best choices I could have made because I had a lot of peers to look up to, and I saw that they were really hard workers, and I learned how to work in a group, and most importantly, I learned that I had to persevere individually and make sure that my work was done in order for us to all succeed. And when we got to go to our state competitions, and we were all out on the field and we had just finished our performance, it was so great to see that all of our hard work had paid off. So that's kind of really inspired me kind of throughout my life to work hard and do well. As far as work experience goes, I was a little bit ambitious. When I was 15, I tried to apply for my first job, and obviously I was too young at the time. So the next year I went back and I applied again at the Dresden Village Association, which is a visitor center, tourism travel, and also a gift shop. And I had some roles such as managing the gift shop on my own. I assisted visitors with travel information. I also helped set up for events. After that, I was a senior in high school, and I had a 4.0 and enough credits to graduate, so I decided to challenge myself and take courses at Muskingum College, where I earned a 3.95 GPA. And in my free time when I wasn't doing my college coursework or doing my high school work, I volunteered at doing kind of like the election campaign, canvassing and doing the phone banks. And from that, I was able to get an internship with Congressman Zach Space. And I did some office work, but what I feel like I learned most about that experience was I became a more compassionate person. I was able to have people that either came into the office or I'd listen to phone calls of people that would have a concern, and I would get to basically hear their life story, how they got from point A to point B, whether it was good or bad, kind of see what our office was doing to help with that. And then after my senior year, I had to decide which college I wanted to go to, and I chose The Ohio State University because it was very diverse. There were a lot of opportunities, and right now I'm an international business major and I have a minor in economics.
The interview candidate did several things well in answering the opening "Tell me about yourself" question. First, she provided structure and organization to her answer by discussing her experiences and accomplishments in chronological order. Second, she provides information on where she grew up and her involvement in school and at work. Next, she shared significant experiences and the skills she learned, such as leadership and teamwork, developed through her activities in band. Finally, the candidate conveys a sense of confidence about her abilities through sharing information about her work and academic experiences. There are two ways the student could improve upon her answer. First, as she progresses through college, she should add some examples of more recent experiences at Ohio State. Second, her answer needs to be shorter and should be no longer than 2 to 2.5 minutes.
You know, a lot of employers will ask a question something like, why should I take the risk in hiring you? And essentially they've been asking that the entire interview. And that this is an opportunity for the student to really think about what are 3 good reasons to hire me, and then to back those reasons up with examples. But they have to keep it brief. For example, they might say, you know, they looked at the job description, and being organized is an important quality the employer is looking for. They should bring that up at this point and give them an example that backs the fact up that they are an organized candidate.
So give me a couple of reasons, a couple of qualities that you have as a student, and why it will match my position or why it will match my company. So for example, we are looking for supervisors. You're going to be managing people. Maybe bring something up in your background and say, hey, I was the manager at this fast food chain. I know what it's like to deal with different people. I know there are different motivations, and I feel that that would fit really well in your environment because this will be similar.
When we get to that final point, you know, why should I hire you? There are a couple things we're looking for. What sets you apart? What's your personal brand? Why you? And what we want to see is, one, you know what your abilities are, you're confident in the position, and two, you know that you're a good fit, that you've done your research on the company and you say, you should pick me because I'm offering ABC, which I know you're looking for, and I like your company vision and mission, and I want to be part of those as well.
When I ask a student, usually around the end of the interview, you know, why should I hire you? Or what I typically say is there anything else that you would like to tell me that would convince me that you'll be a good fit with our company? That's the opportunity to kind of bring out some of the things that you are particularly proud of, that you think that would be a good indicator that you'd be good for the company, but you haven't gotten the chance to really express yet. And so this is, again, much like the beginning of the interview, that opportunity is yours to basically take it and say, here are the things that I really think, you know, that you should really be focusing in on me about for this company.
I think there are a few reasons that I fit really well with your company. First of all, I am very motivated. For example, coming to Ohio State, I knew I wanted to do accounting and business and worked really hard to get involved in the business school. But while here, realized my interest in health, global health, or just healthcare here in the United States. And so I took initiative to get involved volunteering at the hospital, joining the healthcare cluster here at Ohio State. I have a project at Nationwide Children's, and I'm actually working at the hospital as well. So combining business with my own passion has really been very beneficial to me and has given me great experiences and opportunity, and that's something that I could only have through being self-motivated and really chasing after my passions and dreams and working hard to combine those. So I think my motivation would serve me well working for you because I would follow what I am passionate about in the company and would work really hard to get things done in the best way possible. Another reason I think that I would be a really good fit for your company is that I'm very honest and have stick to my ethics and integrity. For example, last year, or my freshman year, Barnes & Noble here charged me twice for an economics book. And so I told them that I only bought it once, could they please remove the extra charge? And they actually removed both charges. So I had an economics book that I wasn't paying for. And so I emailed them and told them, no, I really do have one book, just not two. And so that was $115 some that they did end up charging me, but that's what was right. So I took care of that with integrity, and again, I think that really serves well in the corporate world. Also, I'm very passionate about community service, and I noticed on your website that you have a clean water initiative in the Dominican Republic, and I've actually been to the Dominican Republic, and I'm very interested in just helping the community, and I think I'd really fit well in a company and culture that values that commitment to other people and corporate responsibility. And finally, I'm very appreciative of diversity. That's one thing that Ohio State has really taught me, is just diversity is so beneficial and comes in many forms. And of course, ethnicity and background, but also just where someone has grown up or different ideas. And I've traveled through classes at Ohio State to Mexico and London and Greece and really enjoyed the diverse culture there. And I've also been an English conversation partner, talking to some Chinese students and helping them improve their English and learning about their culture. And I just really enjoy learning about other people's culture and backgrounds, and I know your company is well recognized for its diversity, and I would really enjoy accepting that and working to maximize the opportunities that come from diversity. So in summary, I would say my motivation and integrity, and community service, and diversity interests would make me a good fit for your company.
Thank you very much.
The interview candidate did several things well when providing reasons why she should be hired for the position. First, the interview candidate provides qualities and skills along with values that prove she is the right person for the job. Second, she provides an example to support each reason why she is a good match for the job. Third, the candidate explains her fit with the company's culture by explaining how she shares some of the same values around community service and diversity as her potential employer. Finally, she helps the interviewer remember her main points by summarizing her answer. The only way to improve this answer would be to shorten it by focusing on 3 reasons she should be hired rather than 4. Plus, she could be more direct in sharing her supporting examples when backing up her reasons to be hired.
Well, with behavior-based interview questions, what employers are doing is they're looking at past behavior to get a predictor of future behavior. Let's say they ask, can you give me an example of a time where you took initiative to solve a problem? They want to hear a story about where you took initiative. And you need to organize that using the STAR technique, where you can talk about situation, task, action, and result. What I see a lot of students tend to do is they'll tell us a great story and forget the results. That's like watching a great movie and not seeing the ending of it.
Well, the STAR technique helps organize their thoughts. Behavioral interviewing is telling a story. You're telling us a story, you're setting up the situation so we understand exactly what you're doing. You know, you set the frame, you set the picture for us in our minds. The task is, you know, what was the problem, what was the issue, set that piece up. And I want to know what you did, not my manager did this or we did this. I want to hear a lot of what did you specifically do? And the results, how did it end? It's like telling a joke and not giving the punchline if you don't add the results in there.
When they get those behavioral questions, take it back to a specific example, explain what they did, set it up, give the details, and include a lot of names, dates, times, numbers, and places. The more details you can give, it really helps the employer understand the depth and breadth of what you accomplished. Oftentimes, if a student is giving examples that say, we did this and we did that when they're talking about a committee, I will stop them and say, that's great that your committee did that, but what specifically did you do? And what I find oftentimes that they didn't do anything.
You really want to kind of go through your resume, go through even go through the last couple of months of emails that you've had from student organizations, from your work, from different classes, and really get into the detailed 1 or 2 or 3 detailed stories that you can tell, that you can actually know exactly what happened, exactly what the concept was, who was in the meeting, what the real problems were, what the detailed actions were, and not only what you did, but some of the options that you considered or that group considered before making the final decision, and then details in terms of what the result was.
Well, David, can you tell me about a time where you set a goal and you thought you did everything possible to achieve that goal but still fell short?
Sure. Actually, I had a similar experience to that during my internship during the summer of 2010 with UBS Investment Bank. I was working in their global healthcare group, and really one of the first type of tasks that we had was working with one of our major clients on a merger model. So we were doing a pitch for them and coming up with a hypothetical merger situation. And my task was to create the merger model and come up with the analysis so that we could show them our numbers so that it made sense. So one of my senior associates came to me and said, David, you know, this is your task. Go ahead with it. We're not going to help you out. Do your very best, and we'll come to you at the end of the day. So I literally spent the next, I would say, 12 hours of that day working at a computer on my merger model, which I thought, man, you know, I've spent 12 hours. This is going to be perfect. There's nothing wrong with this. And when I finally presented my model saying, you know, we've got accretion here, we're going to make money off of this deal, the client's going to love it, the very first thing they did once I printed it out was take a red pen and cross an X all the way through it. And they said, you did absolutely everything wrong that we were looking for. And although you spent 12 hours, we're now going to have to go and redo this. So me, you know, this is my first week as an intern, sitting there thinking, wow, I spent way more time than any full-time person would actually spend on this. And I did it all wrong. How is this possible? I'm not going to get a job at all. And now all my dreams of doing investment banking are ruined from this one engagement. And what I later realized was the fact that, you know, when you come in, and this is what they told me at the end of the summer once I finally received a full-time offer, when you come in, they understand you don't know everything. You know, you're not supposed to know every single thing about investment banking or your internship in general. When you come in, they want to see that you are putting forth the full effort, you're going above and beyond, and really trying to do your best in terms of what they show you and what they want you to do. So at the end, that same senior analyst who crossed an X directly through, which, you know, I will admit it was incorrect, my work, he later said, you know, David spent half of a day on this model. He didn't give up. He was determined. He was confident in his work and what he thought was right. Even though it ended up being wrong, that same determination was what helped him to really be a perfect candidate for what we're looking for as a full-time analyst. So although I failed, and I definitely did fail, I did my best and I learned from that experience and ultimately got a return offer from UBS.
First, the candidate provides information about his project for UBS and the amount of time and work he put into the project, which helps the interviewer gain a real understanding of his efforts and the value of the task. Next, the candidate structured his example using the STAR technique: situation, task, action, results. Situation, explaining his UBS summer internship with the Global Healthcare Group. Task, explaining the merger model he was developing for a client to share UBS's financial expectations for the merger. Action, the amount of time and effort he put into the project. Results, the lessons learned from his mistakes and how he overcame these failures to receive an offer for full-time employment. Third, the interview candidate's story was focused on a specific project and experience rather than a story about how he generally overcomes failure. Finally, the candidate's story was specifically about his experience and not a shared story about a team's accomplishments.